because Alexander Isak, as well as him, both had their chance to find some form when they play for their countries this week. Now, Wirtz will line up for Germany against Luxembourg tonight, while Isak is fit to play for Sweden against Switzerland tomorrow night. So look, Liverpool, we mentioned it at the top of the show, it's not gone as well as perhaps they expected this season, for sure. So what have you made of Florian Wirtz, first and foremost?
I was made up when he signed for Liverpool. I was thinking, God, that's brave. You know, he's been brilliant in Leverkusen. Obviously, Munich wanted him. He's a German boy. An easy option would have been to stay in the Bundesliga and sign for Bayern Munich. He's been really brave and come to the Premier League. And we know it's the best league in the world, the intensity, the physicality. And it will take time for him to adjust. I've watched him for Liverpool this season, and forget what social media say, this lad is an unbelievable player. And he hasn't started all the games. People are asking for him to be taken out, and he has been at times. He didn't start games at, I think, the derby at Anfield against Everton. He was on the bench against Manchester United for Chelsea. So he has been given a little bit of time to try and adjust. But there's a player there. There is an unbelievable talent of a player who can find spaces, pockets of spaces against real compact defensive units and make things happen. And people will say he's not got an assist, and I can't argue with that, but he does create chances.
Yes, he's got a lot of chances that
create chances. Yeah. And so Liverpool have been a little bit wasteful with the chances he's created. I don't know where his position is long term. He's played against Arsenal and Atletico Madrid, which were brilliant results for Liverpool this year, as a 10. He was that 10 in there, got into some great positions, outstanding. Against Real Madrid, the best performance from Liverpool this season. He was out on the left, drifted inside. Frankfurt, he played in a 4-4-2 out on the right-hand side. He is capable of playing in different positions.
And is not that what he was kind of told that he might be playing out, potentially on the left when he came in, wasn't it? I think that's what he was kind of expecting, and then hasn't been played out there.
I think if you're not producing the numbers of assists and goals, the manager will play you where maybe you need it. But I think long-term, this lad will be spoken about as one of the best players in the Premier League. And it hasn't been the case this season. It's a long season. He will produce moments this season. I think the Chelsea one, remember when he created that little chance for Salah and Salah put it wide? People would have been saying, one of the best assists we've seen this season. He will produce moments that will turn all this negative talk about Wirtz not influencing games and why Liverpool signed him. I really believe in him, top player.
We were talking about it actually earlier on in the week, about perhaps some players show so much on the training pitch and then they just cannot translate it to actually in a game. Do you feel that might be a little bit of a...
No, not. He's best player in the Bundesliga. That's why Liverpool paid the money they did. You know, for a young boy at 22, he's played countless times for Germany. Assists, goals, he's done that for Germany. It will be a matter of time before those numbers start arriving. Create the chances. I think in the Champions League, again, he's created a few assists, so he has got a few assists in the Champions League. I watch him and I think he's in an unbelievable position there. And maybe at times the pass hasn't been taken with a finish, a wasteful finish. Or maybe somebody hasn't found him when he's in acres of space to maybe score. So I don't think those numbers are too far away from getting a lot higher than certainly what they are at the moment.
All right. What about Isak then? Because he's not featured for Liverpool since the 22nd of October. I'm guessing Arne Slot will want him to play for Sweden right now, won't he? Just to get more kind of match fitness, if that's the word that we're still using for him. I'm not sure whether it is the right phrase anymore.
Well, it's a big boost to see that he is fit and available for starters. He was, I mean, we talk about Haaland as being the best striker in the Premier League. People were talking about Isak being the best last season. And he was so influential for Newcastle, the season they had. Being in the Champions League, winning a trophy as well. So that's why Liverpool went out and bought him, because, and I think it was mentioned with Andy Cole saying he's one of the best finishers. Isak is an unbelievable finisher. And he's been brought into Liverpool Football Club to be that finisher, to score goals, to take chances. And it hasn't quite worked out in terms of the goal return. It's frustration for the injuries he's had, and he's not really been able to get the rhythm in the game. This was the big chance against United. You know, he felt as though he needed that one to go in. But yeah, a top centre forward who early on in the season has found it difficult because of the no pre-season, what happened at Newcastle. He's not alone in that. There's a few other players in that category as well. But with the season as long as it is, he is going to play an important part for Liverpool. And whether that's getting Liverpool back into a much better position in the league, whether that's a real good run in the Champions League, you feel as though he will contribute for Liverpool. But to see him back fit is big, and I'm sure it may even get himself a goal for Sweden.
Yeah, I mean, the question is, who starts? Ekitike, a player that potentially is in the form, or Isak? What would you do?
Thankfully, the manager has to make that decision. Well, you say Ekitike is in form, and he was to start with, but he's been off the boil a little bit in terms of not just him. The numbers will say 1 goal in 8 games, which is surprising. And you're thinking, when the break happens, does that help certain players? Ekitike got his first goal for France last night. He'll be absolutely buzzing. He'll be bouncing back at the AXA when they come back to the training ground before the Forest game. That break would have done him the good, world of good. So I think he's a player who is a little bit more raw compared to Isak, but he's certainly started very well with the goals, but then hasn't scored recently. And that goal for France may just get him going a little bit again. Who starts? I think Ekitike because of his fitness. But Isak will be knocking on the door, and Ekitike will be well aware of that. And they could play together. They played together against Frankfurt, and I thought they played very well together. So that's another option for Liverpool to play both together.
Yeah, and then does that mean that Wirtz misses out?
Get Wirtz in behind. You can play the 4-4-2 down, 7 wins in a row. Everyone was saying Liverpool will win the league again. It's a long way to go. Now, because of the current run, what if we lost 5 of the last 6? Everyone's saying, Liverpool's season's finished. There is a long way to go. Christmas, Liverpool have got 6 more games between now and then. Let's see where we are then. Can Liverpool rediscover that form, that rhythm, and a bit of momentum and a bit of a run to try and get back higher up the league?
And as promised, we want to talk more about Liverpool to Neil. So let's talk about Ibrahima Konate, because he's come in for some criticism this season, hasn't he? He is out of contract, of course, in the summer, so he's got about 6 or 7 weeks that he can start talking to European clubs, can't he? What should Liverpool do here, do you think?
It's very quiet in terms of Konate is not really coming out and speaking. We saw this last season with Liverpool with 3 key players in terms of Trent Alexander-Arnold, Virgil van Dijk and Salah. And he understood it because it was the manager's first season. And maybe they were thinking, not sure what direction Liverpool are going. Liverpool won the league. So to keep 2 of those players is showing to everyone in Europe, the world, Liverpool want to be competing for the biggest trophies. I'm surprised that Konate, I don't know what's going on with the offers, what he wants, why he would want to leave Liverpool Football Club. He's playing alongside the best centre-half in world football, Virgil van Dijk. He's playing at one of the biggest football clubs in world football. OK, Liverpool aren't in the title race at the moment, won the league last year. I'm surprised that it hasn't been sorted. So for me, I don't think he's been pushed. He started every Premier League game this season. Quanta went to Leverkusen. Joe Gomez is the only real backup. Gravenberch can play at centre-half as well. I don't think he's really been pushed for his position. And maybe those consistency levels that we've seen from Konate haven't quite been there. So, I mean, Virgil, to play alongside Virgil, you're thinking, why would you want to leave? You're learning so much around that player. And I don't know if he does want to leave. It's just all very quiet at the moment. For a player to let it go into his last year of his contract, where do you want to go?
Do you feel that partnership, though, is clicking at the moment, or is the actual partnership itself slightly off?
I think because Liverpool are conceding goals, they'll always look at the goalkeeper and the centre-halves. Goalkeeper's changed this season. Centre-halves have played every game. They have had a settled partnership. I think the team unit in front of them hasn't always helped. It's changed a number of times. So Liverpool have actually made more errors this season than have for a few seasons. And maybe that has contributed to a few goals conceded. Teams have been a bit clinical when they have had them chances. I look at Konate and Van Dijk and I like that partnership. I do really like it. They understand each other's game. Konate had to cover out right back a lot for Trent last season. Now he's had different right back for a number of games. Szoboszlai's played there, Frimpong's played there, Conor Bradley's now playing there. So he's had that a little bit unsettled as well. But yeah, there's no doubt them 2 as a partnership are 2 top centre-halves.
I mean, all the talk in the summer was about Mark Gay here, potentially, coming away from Crystal Palace. He didn't get the move in the end. Is he their priority still? Is that who Liverpool need, do you think?
I thought it was done. You can go on then. What a signing that is. It didn't happen for whatever reason. Mark Gay is a top pro. I think you think about the speculation during that time and look at this. Was this the day before or whatever it was, or the day of the transfer window? Yeah. And he was just the ultimate pro throughout it. He carried on, captaining Crystal Palace, maintaining this really good unbeaten run for Crystal Palace as well. And leading by example. So you look at Gay and think, Liverpool will not be alone in wanting to sign him. Liverpool very nearly got the deal done. It was very close, and it would have been a brilliant signing for Liverpool. It'd have pushed Konate a little bit more in that centre-half position. Liverpool might have played a back 3 at times with signing Gay as well. The problem is now, everybody knows that Gay is out of contract in January. And whether he's tempted to leave in a World Cup year, I don't know. I think Palace are doing extremely well. They're in Europe themselves. He's the captain. Or whether he waits till the summer when he's on a free transfer and financially that become a better package for the player. But he is a great centre-half. And Liverpool will probably need to get a centre-half in January. And whether that's him or somebody else, I don't know. Kwanzaa leaving has left Liverpool a little bit light there because Gomez hasn't started a game in the Premier League or the Champions League. And at the moment, I worry that they're a little bit light. And can Konate and Van Dijk keep doing it? Can they keep doing it for every game? I think it's a natural thing, but it's about staying calm. You know, how many times you say, oh, well, you've rushed that chance. It's about the calmness inside the penalty area. He'll miss chances, and no doubt has done before and will do again. But like I say, when he's in that position, you always think he's got the calmness and also the fear factor. I think he's one of those centre-forwards who, when you see his name on the team sheet, you're thinking, he might get the chance. He might be the difference today. So we have to keep him quiet. So he has that about him as well, which all defenders in the Premier League will know they're in for a game against him.
I wonder whether Victor Gyökeres and Benjamin Sesko have the same kind of that ability then, because obviously they had big money moves in the summer. Let's start with Sesko there. What have you made of his start?
I think he has arrived at a huge football club in Manchester United and has been surpassed in terms of the other players. I think Cunha's been more influential than he has. I think Mbeumo as well has done better for Manchester United than Sesko, which maybe helps him because he's not the main man. Other players are doing better than him. I think his time will come. I think he's still a young player. He's adjusting to a huge football club at United. But in terms of having that ability to think, when he has a chance, do you fancy him? He doesn't have that at the moment. I'm sure the goals will come for him. How many? I think when he arrived, I never saw him as a prolific striker anyway. But I think he will contribute with goals. But I look at the other signings they've made in attack and think maybe they've done a little bit more than Sesko has at this moment. I mean, the big game at Anfield, they got the win. Didn't even start the game. So you're thinking the big games.
Yes.
And if you are the main man, you start those games. So he wasn't even starting that game.
And when he did come on against Tottenham, he didn't quite take his chance then that time, did he?
But he's still young.
Yeah.
He's still adjusting. Manchester United have invested a lot of money in him. They will give him time to be able to prove his worth. The team have vastly improved this season from where they were last year and the last few years. I think there's a better mood around Manchester United at this current time. And the fans are enjoying watching the team. I think what you would say as well, and where he might benefit as a player, as a centre-forward, he's going to have more time on the training pitch. And unlike a lot of top clubs in the Premier League who are playing in Europe, they don't get that same benefit. He will have more time on the training ground to understand what the manager wants in that position, but also with his teammates. Then we see how good a coach Amarim is as well, if he can get the most out of him.
Yeah, interesting. What about Victor Gyökeres then? Have you seen enough to convince you that he's the answer for Arsenal and what they needed?
The table looks all right for them.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
It looks all right for them, yeah. I mean, I think Arsenal, again, invested heavily in the summer, but I think they brought in players to enhance what already was an outstanding squad. And maybe he is that missing player for certain games. I'm not sure I look at Gyökeres yet and think he can be the match winner against Man City, against Liverpool. But he could be the difference for 4 or 5 of those draws and turn those games into victories, which still gives its own value as a very important player, but not somebody who say is the best in the league, whereas that fella is at the moment.
You're still putting Haaland way above him.
Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of Arsenal, do you think they've got enough, and with him as an addition, to win the title this season?
A long way to go. I think there is a long way to go. I think they've started extremely well. I think when I look at the league table, I look at it and think, are Arsenal going to lose 5 or 6 games this season? Where are those defeats going to come from? Liverpool have lost 5 games already. City have lost 3 already. And I look at them and think, I don't know they're going to lose 5 or 6 games. I just think they're a really hard team to beat with how solid they look defensively.
Yes.
And injuries may come. And Arsenal fans will say, well, Saka's been out injured. He missed the game at Anfield. Odegaard's out injured. Gyökeres missed the last game. So they're coping and dealing with the injuries, which maybe a couple of years ago they weren't able to do. I thought the recruitment this summer was magnificent. I think they really did recruit well. And they look in a great place. It's a long season. How good will Arsenal be when they're really getting chased? Was it 2 years ago where they nearly won the league? And I think Man City picked them to it, and I think City won 7, 8 games in a row. I just wonder if we get to that stage of the season, mentally, how they will cope with that. But there's no doubt Arsenal, for me, will very much be one of the favourites for the title.
Okay.